So what do we make of these obsessive workplaces? These toxic workplace environments where hostile, narcissistic bosses engage employees on a daily basis, bully them, taunt them, show them who's boss, when they're just coming to work trying to make a living, a decent one. And you guys are rotten for that. But we're going to specifically talk about what happens when you have the dynamic of interpersonal relationships between narcissistic bosses and coworkers, in whatever way that form plays out. It could be just as simple as you guys have worked together for many years or something. And because that narcissist has control in your daily work task in life, they don't want to give up that control, even if that means letting you move on to higher ground. And that's why I get into all of this dagger and taking snipes at people behind their back in the workplace. These are the types of things that I'm talking about, the cutthroat natures that will undo you. Maybe you're trying to get a promotion. Maybe you're trying to get that bonus. I talk about that in my new book. But maybe you're trying to do these things. You know? And that person, that narcissistic boss, because of the desires that they want to feel like they're in control to satisfy that urge, they will play a game with your life as many times as possible. 20 years could go by, literally. Right? And you're that much closer to a heart attack or something, or the stress levels that you have are through the roof. And you wonder where this is coming from, this hypertension and stuff. The narcissistic workplace environment. You're just going to work. You're just doing a job or a task. Simple as that. Doesn't matter if you're shoveling shit or if you're shoveling snow or whatever you're doing. It does not matter because it's merely a task. You're getting a paycheck, right? Simple things. Very simple things. And somehow, in these environments, the hybrid empaths, the empaths, all of the people who are in the middle, the flying monkeys, they will be used. They will be. So we might as well catalog them along with the narcissists. But you empaths out there, you'll catch hell in these environments. And I always say and keep stressing that you need to have that exit plan, you know. And I'm going to have more materials on those types of things coming up in the future. But for now, yeah, you do need to get out of these environments. Simply. There's no need in trying to salvage a job that's going to, you know, bring you closer to hypertension. Dealing with a narcissistic boss who's not going to stop the game. They live for the game, folks. So they'll work this job for hours and hours and hours of a day just to taunt you. And maybe they have a full staff of people who aren't really important. But you will have some type of greater significance than you think. Maybe because you are empathic. And maybe because you are very intelligent or something. Or you do have the know-how for the job. Right? It's a lot of these things. Let me get over here. I see something in the bush. Maybe a snake. And that's what I'm talking about. Speaking of snakes, I'm discussing snakes in your workplaces. A lot of you people, you know, you really just don't get that. You don't want to be used by these narcissistic bosses. You don't want to be that flying monkey because you will be discarded. And that is the reason why that is so important. In case you didn't realize that you could become yourselves a victim because they eat their young, right? And because they're such vicious people, if you get caught up under the wheels of the bus, then oh well, right? I want you to think about that, folks. The narcissistic workplace environment is a toxic place. It's a toxic environment. A place where you don't necessarily want to be unless you're one of these demonic bosses or one of these flying monkey asshole co-workers that you rant and rave about when you go home every day. To someone. And that's the point. So what do these folks do? Because I went on a rant about that. But what do these folks do that affect you and your lives? What do they actually do? Well, let's talk about that. They play these games, and I always talk about these games. I talk about it in my new book, I Love Bad Behavior, folks. Check it out on Amazon. Got to talk about that. But I talk about that. They live for the game. They never stop doing, what they would do. They always have flying monkeys who are willing to do their bidding. The game will continue, whether you're there or not. They want you out of the workplace so they can pull up another victim and they can do it all over again. And it's so much fun. You just don't get it. In a narcissistic mind, you are a target. All right? If you're not thinking about that consistently when you're in these environments, if you're not aware from the door, coming in there, you should be on the job for about maybe 2 weeks before you realize that you're dealing with supremely narcissistic people. And if you know you aren't that, trust me, they'll smell you. They'll spot you out quickly. And you'll become a target. You have that protein that they're looking for. They can't get it from losers and lowlifes, which is most of your work staff, your coworkers. Can't get it from them. But they'll get it from you, folks. Don't be those people. So they'll stalk you, because I was getting back into those games. And I'll say this quickly. I'm standing over here near bushes and stuff. But they'll stalk you in many ways. They want to control your life. If you work a job where you have a boss that makes a schedule, these are those low-life somebodies I talk about in the book. That's why I keep bringing it up. But these are those low-life somebody bosses that you have, supervisors or whatever, mid-managers or something, who get to make your schedules at work. I don't know what job you're doing. It doesn't matter. You're working somewhere. You're making a decent living. And the people who make your schedules will play games with your schedules. Maybe they won't tell you when you're working or something. Maybe you have to call there to find out when you're working. See, they want you to they do these head games. As soon as you start dealing with these things, it's not really about the exit plan. It's not really about standing there and fighting and fight. Obviously, I'll teach you folks later on in some of these materials that I'm putting out. I'll talk about, how to fight back. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about common sense, rationale, getting out of the job when necessary and when appropriate. That's what this conversation is about. In a narcissistic, toxic workplace environment, when you're dealing with a boss who's obsessed with you. Now, I want to bring up that movie. I think Glenn Close and Michael Douglas played it. It's an old movie. You guys may not remember this movie. It's called Fatal Attraction. Okay, a lot of narcissism, craziness going on in that movie. But your bosses have a similar feeling towards you as a worker for whatever reason of value that it's like a cat playing with a ball of yarn and someone's taking their ball. You get it? So they'll literally not give you a schedule. They'll call you at your house to give you your schedule. Just stuff that they wouldn't normally do. Because it's about a game. It's about control. It's about feeling that even when you're not at work, they can touch you or they can talk to you. You see what I mean? So you have to set your boundaries until you get out of these places. Don't go in there with your guns drawn and looking for a fight and telling this job what you're not going to do. No, folks. You have to size up the job and realize if it's worth it to you just to hang on a little bit longer. Maybe there'll be something in it for you regardless that you'll greatly benefit from. Maybe a good paycheck, maybe some nice benefits, right? Medical insurance or something, right? Whatever your reason for staying at that job. I don't knock you. I recommend you stay there. If you're making decent money in this hard, cold world we live in. Run by narcissists. So I want you guys to understand that when I talk about that stalking that they do when they watch you at lunch on your lunch breaks and stuff, I talk about that a lot in the book and a lot of stuff. I'm talking about everything here, but yeah, I do. I talk about that a lot. That's why it's important. You have to understand these are stalking. This is stalking behavior. In case you didn't realize that. That's why it's so important, right? Talk about it a lot because people lose sleep. I talk about it because, as extreme as a grown adult's crapping on the floor in your workplace, is that a rational, normal thing that you guys can can see happening at your job on any given day where you're stepping over someone's crap in the floor. Bad shit crazy, folks. The games, just to get a reaction out of you, they will shit in the floor. You get what I'm saying? It's that severe. If you're willing to stay in this environment, kudos to you. But I would recommend you work on an exit plan. If you're in these environments, make your money, yeah. Keep your head down. Deal with these narcissistic bosses who stalk you, may call you at home and do all types of crazy stuff beyond the realm of the job. Like that Fatal Attraction movie where the girl was just obsessed with that guy. They're obsessed with you. Not really romantically. Not necessarily that. They could just be obsessed with the power over you. You get what I'm saying? It's a narcissistic relationship between the worker and the subordinate and the superior, boss, supervisor. Not superior, but supervisor. Dysfunctional relationships that many of you suffer from every day. That's why this is important talk. I'm walking out here and I got to stop for a minute because, like I said, I'm standing near a bush and I hear something rattling. It could be a snake. It could be anything. So you got to be careful. But you have to be careful. That's a great segue because you have to be careful on your jobs, what I say. When you're dealing with the snakes, perfect. See how that fit? When you're dealing with the snakes, folks, you're going to have to be careful on your job. Right? Your bosses will play this game to break you down. That's the thing that will put you in the box early. That's the thing that will make you have a stress attack or something or whatever's happening to you. They'll put that stress on you. Then they'll look all innocent. Whatever they're going to say. It's all in that, folks. It's all in the narcissistic workplace environment of toxicity that you'll deal with. So I'm not going to take too much time. I want to get on down to the river and stuff, and I'm hanging out. It's a nice day today. I recommend y'all try to start getting outside because I haven't been getting outside. I've been doing a lot of working on my book, and I'm cooped up. So I'm out here today enjoying it. I saw people kayaking earlier. It's just nice out here. So you guys have a great day. I love bad behavior. Stuff in the bush. I'm telling you, folks, I hear these rattling and stuff. I don't know what this. Yeah. I love bad behavior, folks. But I love it when people are able to look at their supervisors and superiors and see the true narcissists that they are and effectively rid themselves of a more daunting situation. Like, share, subscribe to videos. Check out my website, Think Behavior, www.thinkbehavior.info. You folks take care. See you later.